Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Show with KCD. I'm your host, Kara Chafin Donofrio, and your DC Metro Real Estate Guide and Advisor. And today I am going to be attempting to answer a question that I get asked all the time. And that is, as a seller, should I sell first and then buy my next home? Or should I buy first and then sell my home? So I'm going to attempt to answer this question in the best way, but the answer is that it really depends. So I'm going to walk you through a few different scenarios so that you can understand the pros and cons to the different situations. And of course, everybody's situation can be unique and specific, so if you have any specific questions, feel free to email me or call me directly so we can talk through your situation. Now, in scenario number one, that is, you sell your home first before you've found your next home. Now, pros to doing this would be that you know exactly how much money you have netted from the sale of your home. So you can feel more confident in your next home purchase and on the buy side because you know exactly how much money you have. The other pro of doing this is because you've already sold your home, there's no need to pull funds from additional investment accounts or explore any type of creative financing options to purchase that next home while carrying your current mortgage. And number three, another pro of doing this is if you're purchasing in a really competitive buyer environment, on the purchase side, because you've already sold your home, you can offer really competitive terms to the seller of your the home that you're buying. So for example, you could offer a really quick closing time frame, or you can be really more aggressive on the buy side because you know you don't have to sell a home in order to buy. Now the cons of doing this would be in a competitive or tight inventory environment, in many ways like what we see right now, you might not find the home of choice as quickly as you want. So what this could mean is that there's a potential for two moves, or there's a potential that you might have to have some higher costs for storage. The other thing with this is that you may need to have a short-term housing option as a backup if you sell your home quickly and then don't have enough time or haven't found that really next perfect home. So when this situation might make sense is if you're nervous about carrying both homes and you don't have the financial means to carry both homes. This also might make sense if you value security and peace of mind, knowing exactly how much money you're going to have to put down on that next home. And lastly, it may be a really good option if you have a really good backup housing option. So maybe you have a relative or somebody that lives close by where if you sell your home really quickly and you haven't found that next home yet, you have a place to go. Now, scenario number two is you buy your next home first and then you sell your current home. So the pros of doing this are you've got security and peace of mind, knowing that yes, you've found that next home to go to and you're not going to have to worry about being homeless. So this also might make sense if, again, you have the peace of mind and knowing that you have found your next home, your perfect home. The cons of doing this are that you do need to ensure that this is an option for you. Maybe talk to your lender, make sure you can qualify for the new home with carrying your existing home. And you may need to pull out some money from some different investment accounts, maybe explore different bridge loan options, which can be a little bit more costly. Maybe it makes sense, though, if it gets you the home that you really want. So this scenario makes sense if you value convenience. You don't want to have to worry about moving twice. It also is good in that you value peace and the knowledge that you're not going to be homeless. You know exactly where you're going. Number three, it's a good option if you have the financial means to afford both homes or carry them both. And lastly, it's also can be a good option in a competitive seller market where homes sell really quickly and there's less risk maybe in selling first in that you are you're going to be able to maybe negotiate some options with the buyer of your home. So you may be able to negotiate a longer term settlement, a potential rent back option with the buyer buying your home that's going to give you a little bit more flexibility in order to find that next home. So depending on the scenario that feels right to you, there can be even a few other things to consider. So you can see that there's no one easy answer, but there's lots of things to consider, and that's why having a realtor or somebody that can really guide you through the process is really important. So a few other things to consider might be if you choose to buy first and then sell, you may want to be more selective in the offers that you choose as a seller. Again, maybe looking at a buyer, maybe it's not all about the price, but maybe the flexibility of a buyer buying your home, giving you the opportunity to stay a little bit longer, have a longer term settlement, and again, a potential rent back option. Another thing to potentially consider, and again, this is really more in a competitive seller market when it makes sense, but you might consider adding a home of choice contingency. This is actually a contingency that you have as the seller, meaning that you have a contingency built into your contract that allows you a certain amount of time to find the home that your next home. And if you don't find it within that window of time, you have the option as the seller to void the contract. So this is really one of the few options that's a contingency that the seller has the right to retain. And we don't see it all that often, but again, in a competitive environment where as a seller you just have more power, it could be something to explore. And lastly, if you choose to buy first and then sell, you could explore a home sale contingency. This means that if you're a buyer, you buy another home and you have a seller that's willing to accept your contract with you actually a contingent on you selling your existing home. Now, in a seller's market, this is not probably going to be as acceptable to a seller because there's more risk on the seller side. And also, as a buyer, sometimes you may end up paying a little bit more for the home in order to have that flexibility and time to sell your existing home. But nevertheless, it certainly is an option. So again, I've given a lot of different scenarios and talked through many different things and as it pertains to this question, but here for you as a resource and hope this is helpful. Again, if you have a question or want to review your specific scenario with me, I'm happy to talk to you and just email me at Kara, K-A-R-A, at kcdrealestate.com, or feel free to reach out and connect on our Facebook page, which is KCD Loves Real Estate, and I would be happy to talk to you further about it. So with that, have a wonderful day, everybody, and happy selling.